And we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of Toy Addicts Anonymous Live. I'm here with my buddy Carlos.
What's
My
up,
man
guys?
James. What's up, man? How's everything?
Everything good, dude? Everything good.
What's exciting about toys, man? Have you gotten anything new recently? Any new news?
Well,
Anything?
man,
Any drop that you're excited about?
well, we need to talk about a lot of stuff, dude. Like mainly the Dragonfly, the Haslab.
Yes.
That's a, that's a big one. That's a big
Yes.
one. And man, I'm really excited because like it's so cool. And I was talking to some friends because I'm not like huge into classify. And I'm pretty much collecting like what I like, and that's it. Not like trying to be like a completist or anything like that. But this helicopter is so cool because you can use this helicopter for everything. It's like a very generic helicopter, like so I can use it for pictures, photography, and stuff like that, and do like crossovers with other lines, like Marvel
Yeah.
Legends and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, and the amount of accessories that thing comes with,
Yeah.
like, make look the other Haslabs, the ones that didn't come through, like garbage, dude. Because out of the blue, they give you all these weapons, effects, and everything. Like, and it's not even a tier. It's just like included in the whole package, and the price point is pretty fair.
Well, I've said it before, and it's just like people wonder why the Hasbro GI Joe group is so successful with all their campaigns, their HasLabs, and everything, and it's because it's an internal brand. So Hasbro doesn't pay anything to anybody else. Everything they make all the profits, so they have more budget to spend on these projects, and of course, us as customers get so much more bang for our buck
Oh
in
yeah.
regard to accessories, weapons, unlocks, effects, everything. And I'm with you. I'm all in with classifieds, except for like the Python Patrol and all that shit, Tiger Force. I don't really get those. I did get the Tiger Force Outback just because I love the color
Oh,
orange, and
that
I thought
figure
that
looks really
shirt,
cool.
yeah, the
That's a
shirt with
really
the
cool.
tiger
I like
looked
him
bad.
better than the regular
Really?
version.
I like both. I like both, but I have my Tiger Force Outback, and but yeah, I don't get into those variants. I don't care about those variants. Look, I love Bazooka, and I decided to wait for Classic Bazooka because I just didn't want the Tiger Force Bazooka. I want the classic colors. I'm a fan of what I watched on TV, which was the cartoons, the Sunbow cartoons from the 80s. So, all those variants and stuff like that, I have zero interest in. But as far as everything else, dude, I'm all in. That line is just insane. The trouble bubble that they fucking revealed, dude. Holy shit, that thing is amazing.
That's crazy. How many you gonna get?
I got two. I got two on pre-order.
Yeah, most
Um,
of the people are getting two.
yeah, like you can have one on the ground, like the guy's getting into it, and one taking flight, or for people that want to have one mint in box, you have one boxed and one to play with. Um, but yeah, Classifieds is on fire, dude. Fire, like, and they haven't even revealed the other two unlocks. And I was talking to you the other day that I have a strong feeling that one of the unlocks is going to be a classic Duke, because the Duke that we got with the classified launch, it looks like a Fortnite character. All that modern futuristic armor and the weapons, and they've done everything more classicized now. So I think we're going to get a classic Duke with the jetpack and probably even the American flag. And that'll be like a carded exclusive that comes with the
Yeah,
vehicle.
that
But
would
then
be
later
cool.
on down the line, they'll have like a more standard release of that version, just like we did
Yeah,
with Cobra Commander.
I think. Well, as I told you, my
Airborne.
strong,
Airborne for sure.
yeah,
I think Airborne
strong
is,
feeling Airborne is gonna come. He's on the original packaging of the helicopter of the Dragonfly. He was there. He's the co-pilot,
Right.
and and I mean he's pretty much like a helicopter ranger type of guy. So yeah, for sure, that's his specialty, right? So I
The reason I say Duke is because in the his you got his drivers and stuff like that, but you got Cobra Commander, you got the big shot, and you got him with a Chrome Dome, which is what everybody's been waiting. So I feel that this is a perfect opportunity to give us that classic Duke and give us that jetpack, bro, and the
but
jetpack with like
there's
a
a
fit.
lot of people there's a lot of people saying also uh, Falcon.
General Falcon.
Yes,
It's a
there's a lot
possibility.
of people saying Falcon.
I mean, I don't see why they couldn't do him in the standard release. The reason I say Duke is because, we got that weird, funky Cobra Commander that I'm not really a fan of. And then they gave us a classic Cobra Commander with the hiss. So I feel like this is a great opportunity to give us the Duke that everybody wants. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, I hope, because I don't have a regular Duke because the other two I don't like it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I hope, but yeah, like Classify right now, I think it's like pretty much the line for Hasbro, who's making more justice to the actual property, right? Like
Yeah.
property wise, and it's mainly, and you're right, mainly because they don't need to pay royalties to anybody, and they can play around with what they have. I mean, it's their own brand, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, what they're doing with Classify, and also, I mean, giving Mesco the license too, which is really weird at the same time, but makes sense because it's more like high end, you know. It's more like soft goods, and not everybody's like into soft goods and stuff, right? But overall, I think like they're doing really really good, and all these vehicles, like the mini vehicles, because if they did already the trouble bubble, right? Uh, I'm waiting for them to make maybe like the an exclusive, like you don't know, you don't remember this Dreadnought Core Zanzibar, like
Yeah.
that comes with this little vehicle, you know, and maybe I don't know, maybe get like the Sergeant Slaughter tank, stuff like that that you can make, and make it as a retail, doesn't need to go to Haslab or Kickstarter style or whatever crowdfunding.
Right.
uh, but yeah, we have a lot of possibilities. Like there's like this boogie. I don't know if you remember that boogie, the sand boogie.
Yes.
uh, I don't remember the name right now, but it's another vehicle that is like a two-man vehicle, small. It's not that big. I think it's they can make it like for retail stuff like that. Like there's a lot of vehicles that they can make like that. I remember the actual kind of like jet, that like the glider type,
Hmm.
that they can do that. I mean, to fight the trouble bubbles, you know
Yeah.
like there's a lot of I mean,
There's
we have.
no, there's a lot of opportunities. There's the Zartan skiff, the little skiff vehicle that he had. That's an
Yeah,
opportunity. I would love to see the Dreadnought Ripper, and they should definitely do. Um, they should do. I don't think it was Monkey Wrench. The other one, the one that has a handlebar mustache with the motorcycle. That would be awesome. I
they
mean, they've
should make
already,
motorcycles for the dreadnoughts, like Harley Davidson style motorcycles for them.
and
That's
they
that's
can because they've done a bunch of motorcycles already.
Yeah,
So
and that's pretty cool because as I was telling you, like that type of vehicles and stuff you can use with any other line. You can use with Marvel Legends. You can use whatever you want. I posed a picture not too long ago, I think, with the regular Sartan, the vintage style one, on the Punisher Marvel Legends motorcycle. and
Right.
it fits perfectly there. So yeah, I mean, classified. Actually, listen, I'm not like I do not consider myself a classified collector, but I have a couple, right? And I'm pretty happy with what they're doing. And but it's because mainly not because I don't like it, but it's there's too many stuff.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
it's I need to narrow my collection and try to
That's that,
concentrate.
that's one thing that I'm struggling with right now, which is I'm trying to curate my collection. So curating by saying, okay, well, this is the ultimate Spider-Man, and I'm going to display this Spider-Man. This is the ultimate, Red Hulk. Instead of having multiples of a certain character, just like find that one perfect iteration of your character. And then for you, for example, where you're not a completist with Thundercats, you have Lionel and Mumra, right? And then with Quick, you'll have Thunder. From Silverhawks, you have Quicksilver and Monster. Um, that's curating. You're just kind of like, representing different brands, but with like maybe two, three characters tops for each brand. And it's tough. For me, it's tough because I love so many characters. And, I guess being an artist, I appreciate a lot the sculpts, the designs, and I love to pose the figures. And I mean, you get out there more than the way I used to be before I had my daughter, like, and just take all these awesome pictures outdoors and stuff. Um, so you know what it is. It's so fun to pose your figures, play with them, put them in awesome poses, and have the natural backgrounds, use natural daylight and stuff like that. Um, but but yeah, man, like I'm super excited about Classified. I think right now Hasbro, their breadwinners, their gold medalists is the GI Joe team. Um,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
second
I
runner up,
totally agree.
second runner up is Marvel Legends, and shit, man, I could say sadly Star Wars is like dead last, man. They're just I don't know if
Star
it's
Wars, dude.
I
Star
think they
Wars
have
is
to pay
dying.
Disney so much money, I guess, to make shit that their figures don't have anything, man. They don't have extra hands, they don't have extra heads, they don't have anything, and then
Listen, I think the only thing that can save Star Wars is the new movies that are coming. If they don't come with something really strong, I think that's gonna be the end of the line.
or
Like,
maybe the Ahsoka series, which starts in August.
yeah, like they need something because I'm gonna be honest with you. I really like The Mandalorian this last season, but I think compared to the other seasons was a little bit weaker. And and I guess, I mean, it's like everything, right? Like, especially when you create a character and you try to make everything around that character needs to be really really interesting, and needs to be like really, how I say, needs to have like a lot of like ramifications, so you can have a TV show that can last you for really long.
Right.
It's not that easy to
No.
keep your fan base stick to the TV with a TV show that is like super interesting any single episode. I think back in the days the first season was the new thing, right? And and you have all these missions for him, but it gets to the point where you're like, okay, so another mission, so like another mission, and then they start creating this long story, right, that it follows in the second and third season, right? They try to create like a whole story, and but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember, back in our days with the A
Yeah.
team or MacGyver,
Right.
like
Right.
everything was pretty much the same, just in a different situation, right? Like
Sure.
it was the
Yeah.
same thing. And I think, I mean, yeah, it's good. That formula is good, but sometimes it gets boring. You
I
know,
think what
like
they're doing is they're trying to, obviously they don't want to do a show for too long to the point where people just get tired of it. So they're creating these arcs where they're introducing other characters that bleed into other storylines, and eventually that one story. Like I feel like the next Mandalorian season is probably the last, um, because whatever. Now he's the sheriff in that new settlement, and he's gonna be like Cobb Vanth. You know, he's basically gonna be protecting that settlement, the residents there and stuff. Um, it could be interesting, but definitely this season set up Ahsoka, and it's
yeah,
set up and it's set up what could probably be like a Mandalorian series that's not the Mandalorian. It's more like Bo-Katan and like the
Bo-Katan
planet
story.
Mandalore.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think the Mandalorian already did did his job. Like kind of like get new people into Star Wars. Create a new character that is attractive to people, right? And just I will say just leave it like that. Like, because sometimes when you try to stretch too much like stuff, you mess it up.
right.
And I think if they keep pushing the Mandalorian, which is great already, like they're gonna kind of like ruin the story for people. So yeah, like you said, like get Bo-Katan, get Ahsoka, and try to spread the Mandalorian story in two different ramifications, and then do your thing, right? Same you did with the Mandalorian, do with these two characters, and you already have a story. So it's not gonna be like that difficult. With Bo-Katan, it's gonna be really interesting. I mean, you
Yeah.
can bring Darth Maul and all those characters, to make it even way more appealing to the old fans and also the new fans.
And they're doing it because the Ahsoka series is a direct continuation of Rebels. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity for storytelling there. They could do a flashback, like you said, where Darth Maul comes in with his squadron of Mandalorians, and I think that would be amazing. The potential for storytelling is incredible. I'm interested in knowing more about the new characters, like that new Sith Lord, which unfortunately the actor passed away not too long ago. He was the one that played the Punisher.
Yeah,
Um, but it's going to be interesting to see that, and I wonder who's going to play Ezra, and if Ezra's even going to come out in season one of Ahsoka, because I feel like they're looking for Ezra, and they're trying to stop Thrawn from taking power. So the story is going to be amazing. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited about that. Another thing I'm excited about is Secret Invasion. What do you think about that? It's launching, I think, next month.
and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Did
I
you
mean,
like the Captain Marvel movie?
yes and no. I mean, I like Carol Danvers as an individual, but I didn't like the storytelling on the actual movie. Like, to me, it was a low budget movie, right?
Hmm.
And and to me, that whole movie reminds me an episode of Star Trek,
Oh,
like pretty much. Um,
well, when you say Star Trek, and no offense to Star Trek fans, you don't even have to explain what happened on the episode because I've never been a fan of Star Trek. I think it's a soap opera in space. It's just like, this
it's,
alien is fucking this alien, and I don't
it's,
know.
it's,
It's
it,
I
it is
don't
what
get
it
it.
is. I mean, listen, I like Star Trek, the first movies when Captain Kirk was there. Uh, I watched the first season when Jean-Luc Picard took over. Uh, and I really like it, but to be honest with you, there were some episodes that were like super mega boring, dude. And kind of like a total drama. It was like a telenovela or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
and to me it was kind of like really boring. But yeah, I mean, listen, the character itself, Carol Danvers, is really interesting. I really like the character and the comics. And I think this girl kind of like portrayed the character good, but I just hope for a good writing. You know, like the story needs to be good. It has potential, you know, a lot of potential, but potential is one thing, and when it comes with the actual stuff is when it became like a little bit interesting because
Yeah.
you don't know what they're gonna do, like especially Disney, dude. Like they are really good at ruin stuff,
Yeah.
you know, like it is what
Perfect
it is,
example, Thor, Love and Thunder.
dude. Listen, they make Thor look like an idiot, like,
Even
you
Chris
know.
Hemsworth said that he feels like they had way too much fun on that movie, and it was too funny. More funny than it should have been. So it's really kind of, I don't know. It's set the bar now because I think the expectations of Marvel fans is a lot higher now because after watching Love and Thunder, everybody's like, you better give us some good shit. Because I mean, Quantumania was pretty good. Some people don't like it. I don't know that much about Kang. Um, I don't know if what the argument people had about it was that Kang is not like in the comics or whatever, but um, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. I think this guy's portrayal of Kang was awesome. Like he looked just like Kang from the comics. But and
Yeah,
it
he
fit with
looks.
his image.
Yeah, he looks like, but he doesn't act like him. That's
Yeah.
that was the problem, the main problem. I mean, I kind of like the movie till half of the movie. After, like, I think the movie was too long. They lose time. They lose a lot of time and explanations that you really don't need to.
Mhm.
And the whole Kang. I think using Kang and the quantum realm wasn't a good um, idea. Like Kang is a character that is actually a universal character. Makes sense? Like Kang is a character that you can use to fight the Avengers himself. You know, like not like Ant-Man and these guys. You know, like Kang is a guy that you actually he actually beat the crap out of all the Avengers at the same time. You know, he's that badass. He
Right.
was manhandling Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, everybody. You know, and I don't know. They kind of like make him look a little bit weak in that story. I mean,
Right.
yeah, if you don't know too much about the character, you may like the movie because the movie has like a lot of CGI and I mean, this guy that portrayed Ant-Man, Scott Lang, that guy is really good.
Yeah.
He's really good guy, and also this girl that portrayed Wasp, she's also really good. I really like her.
Elizabeth Lilly and and Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the problem with Marvel is like I don't know, like they start with um, such a strong team, and to switch to these new Avengers is like pretty much you don't have that power that you have in the first movies. Makes sense? I don't know if it makes sense. Like even that you have humans, right? Because you have Hawkeye, you have Black Widow, but you don't have an Iron Man, right? You don't have a Captain America. You don't have a Thor. You know, you don't have a Hulk. You know, it's Like all these characters, all these new characters are copycat from the original characters, pretty much. You
Yeah.
have the Hawkeye girl, you have Carol Danvers, that is pretty much like she's gonna be like the Thor, you know.
It's like a passing of the baton. And, unfortunately, that's the world we're living in right now. It's this all inclusive thing. Uh,
Tell me about it.
core male heroes are now becoming core female heroes. Thor, obviously, it's gonna be female Thor probably in the next movie, and you know, uh, we've got the new Captain America, um, which is basically Falcon. Uh, but there's certain things that are okay, but certain things are just like this whole new Marvels movie. Like I'm not really that interested in it, and I feel like they're moving towards having like this very strong like female centric team, and I don't know, it's not a sexist thing or anything, but we just grew up with reading comics and everything. It's not what we grew up with. It was always maybe two or three females, but like the majority of the team members were males. Um, so it's just I don't know, man. Things are
Listen,
really
listen,
different now.
it's simple as that. Like you have, I mean, listen, if you watch, uh, let's say Justice League, right? Dude, you have Wonder Woman, and to me, Wonder Woman was always such a badass character. Diana was such a badass character, right? And she doesn't need even to be around all these girls in order to shine over
Right.
all these guys that were on the team. I mean, if you ask me, like out of the Justice League, my second favorite after Superman, I think was Diana, was Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
right? So you don't need to 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 force and push that situation. Listen, when I saw that scene on Endgame with all these girls fighting Thanos at the same time, dude, instead of feeling like, oh wow, I was laughing, dude. I was laughing, not making fun of the girls, but dude, why you need to do that bullshit? Like how in the middle of a battle, like a battle, dude, all these girls came together like girl power, let's destroy the big guy. I mean, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
really. But unfortunately, everything is now, like you said, um, in that direction, but at the same time, like that's pretty much passing the check to Marvel and Disney with what's going on the actual box office.
Right.
Like people are tired like to see the same thing over and over again. Inclusive stuff, woke stuff. Like, dude, come on. I'm not trying to be an ass, but I mean, listen, people are getting tired of the same thing over and over again. I mean, the formula was good at the beginning, right? But now every single movie needs to be the same format. Let's change the color of the characters. Let's change the sex of the characters. Let's put a gay character, and and that's what it is. That's what it is, and it's getting boring. Like I'm not even fighting like or I'm against, but it's getting boring because it's over and over again the same thing. Like there's no creativity on these guys. I don't know what's going on. Like to
Yeah.
be honest with you, but people are getting tired, dude. People are getting tired. Like it's like pretty similar what situation that happened in one of these Facebook groups that I'm part of, dude. Like a few weeks ago,
Oh, the
this company.
horse.
Dude, I'm not gonna even mention the company because it's a great company and I have a lot of friends there.
A
And
horse is a horse, brother. Horse
dude,
is a
and the guys are amazing, very creative, great guys, right? And the people in the group in the actual Facebook group, they're like great guys. I have a lot of good friends. You have a lot of good friends there too, and but it was ridiculous that like this company who made this horse, that was a Templar horse, right? A Templar horse with the
yeah.
crosses and stuff, and then everybody was excited when they show up the horse, and then one, because to me it's not even a regular person. To me, it's an ignorant person because they don't know story, they don't know history. Sorry, and he said, "Oh, the horse looks like racist or what? Looks KKK or whatever." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, this is Templar horse. Like, we have 700 plus years between the two, the hate group and the Templars, just to let you know. Like, if you don't have your facts or you didn't went to school, you know, and then people jump into the bandwagon because that's what people does now. They jump into the bandwagon and they were like, yeah, the horse looks racist, whatever. I was like, are you kidding me? And then these guys, I mean, I respect, and listen, at the end of the day, it's their company. They can do whatever they want with their company, you know, and I totally respect that, but I do not share that because if you feel that somebody is wrong, you know, that somebody is wrong, and in reality is wrong, okay, in the facts, if somebody's wrong and you change the design of that thing, you're giving them the right, you're giving them and telling them, what you're saying is like you're telling them you were right even they were wrong, you know. So I think it's more about education, you know, try to educate people. And I mean it's pretty much what it is, dude. Like unfortunately this world is more about followers than leaders. And when you have somebody that jumps on it, the easy way to do it is let's jump everybody in the same bandwagon, and that's it. And it's sad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't, I don't like politics, and I just kind of stay in my lane. But I don't agree with the cancel culture and the extreme measures of things, and like, everything has to be tied back to historical elements that offend people. I just don't. I don't agree with that stuff.
It's
Because
crazy.
but it is the world we're living in.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what I always tell to my friends and what I tell to my family. I'm like, listen, I have my family and my core group of friends, right? And I care for them. I care for them. People can do whatever they want as soon they don't mess up with my circle of people, the people that I really care, you know. And if I can educate people about stuff, I will do it. If you want to take the advice, it's up to you. If you don't want to keep going and do whatever you want, that's up to you, if that makes you happy. But don't come at me and tell me what I need to do with my life, with my
Yeah,
family, with my friends. You know, like
no,
it's pretty much that. Don't come at me telling me how I need to think, how I need to act.
no, right.
That's it.
This is a free country, and that's one of the things you know that this country gives you that other countries don't is freedom of speech. So we're all, we have the right to feel or disagree with whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Um, Now I wanted to go back because we are kind of segueing, and it's always fun. But I know we had told our fans and stuff that today we will be talking about what brought us into collecting and what type of connections we had with our childhood. And I don't know if you have any anecdotes about your childhood to share, but I think one of the funniest things for me is, and I think a lot of people relate to this. I think what got me into toy collecting was Star Wars. And the funny thing is that I barely collect Star Wars nowadays because I'm just not happy with what's coming out in comparison to the other offerings from other companies.
Yeah.
But the small short story that I have is that um, when Empire Strikes Back came out, I did not see the movie in theaters. Um,
Hmm.
so Empire Strikes Back, I was born in '76. Empire came out in, I want to say, was it 80, 1980? Star Wars was
Pretty much.
77. So I would have been 4 years old, right? I
Yeah.
didn't see Empire Strikes Back in theaters, but apparently either my uncle was a fan of this film, or he thought, hey, this would be a great toy line for my nephew to get into.
Hmm.
And out of the blue, in Christmas of 1980, I got a bunch of Star Wars figures, and I just started getting into them without even seeing the movies, dude. So when I saw my first film, which was Return of the Jedi, in theaters, then it was game over. It was like that year I got the Ewok Village. I got so many figures. I had the Darth Vader case filled with figures. Everything was just Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And tops, baseball cards, toys, shampoo, everything you could think of under the sun. And one day, this is like fast forward, I don't know, I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. I came home from school and I go straight to my toy box and it was gone. And I asked my grandma, because I lived with my grandma and my grandpa back then, I said, hey, where are my toys? He's like, oh, your dad uh, gave them away.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, what? And I started crying and I was so pissed off. And then, like, I confronted my father and he goes, oh, no, you're too old for toys. Because my father was always this macho, like, he wanted
Yeah.
to instill machoism into me and all this stuff. And he's like, you don't need to be playing with toys. You gotta be playing with girls, making girlfriends, this, that. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I'm 10, I'm 11. You know, I don't remember exact age. But long story short, yeah, man, he just took it upon himself to rip the childhood element of playfulness away from my life. He just put everything in a box and gave it away like Goodwill to some family. So having that torn away from me like that, when I enjoyed it so much, I think that's what really sparked the passion for collecting toys now later on in my adulthood. And I remember, dude, like all the way probably maybe to like eighth or ninth grade, I was embarrassed to let the public see that I liked toys and I liked nerd shit. But I remember one day I walked into a Toys R Us and I saw this older man. He must have been in his 50s. He had white hair, beard, and the guy was just filling his shopping cart with toys, bro. I think at that time, Star Wars hadn't, the Power of the Force line hadn't come out. So it was some other toy line, but he was just buying toys. And I walked up to him and I was like, hey, um, wow, you must have a lot of kids because you're buying a lot of toys and it's not even Christmas. And he's like, oh no, I don't have any kids. I'm like, what? He's like, no, I'm a collector. I'm like, a collector? What the fuck is that? So and that opened my eyes to a whole other world, bro. That showed me that adults collected toys, bro. And that kind of like that was the break release for me, you know, where from there I remember going to Borders bookstore, which are no longer around, and I picked up an issue of Tomart's Action Figure Digest, and I read an article, The Return of Star Wars, and that's when I found out that Kenner, which was still Kenner back then, that they were had decided to bring back Star Wars, and they were doing the Power of the Force line. Um, and dude, that gave me goosebumps, man, when I read that article and I saw prototypes and stuff. And that year, dude, I made it a commitment because I had been, I was a graduate from high school and I was working at a production company. So that year, I made it a commitment. I committed myself to go to New York Toy Fair and witness the the unveiling of this new line, right? And I actually did it, bro. I made business cards that year, and um, it was easier to get in back then. And I actually got um, the okay from Kenner to visit Toy Fair. So I got an official invitation. I flew out to New York. That shit was crazy, dude. I flew out to New York on a red eye by myself. I didn't even stay at a hotel, dude. I went to New York. I got there in the morning. I did New York Toy Fair, and I went back to the airport and came home. But I experienced what not a lot of people could say they experienced. I experienced the the premiere of the return of the toy line that I cherish so much from my childhood. And it was such an awesome feeling, dude. And I remember, they still do it that way where you go into the Hasbro building and you got to go through everything. You got to go through their girls line, you got to go through their toddlers line. So you got to go through all these presentations. And I remember like skipping. I would be like, I don't care about this shit. And I would keep walking. And when I got to the Star Wars room and I saw the Millennium Falcon and I saw Power of the Force 2, the steroids Luke, and the steroids Chewie and the steroids
They
Vader.
were looking like He-Man guys.
Bro, they were jacked. They were like on fucking roids. It was like Arnold, Luke, and shit.
But that was the thing back in the days.
But dude, the feeling. So when I came back home from Toy Fair, bro, it was game over, bro. I was all in. I was like calling Toys R Us. When are you getting your shipments? I was fucking doing the hunting, and it just went on from there. And like I said, ironically, today I hardly collect Star Wars because I find that the magic that the Star Wars toy line was before, it's kind of dissipated. Now all they do is like 25,000 different versions of Mandalorian or 25,000 repaints of a figure. You know, this year is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. And we have like three figures, bro. We have a Gamorrean guard, which is already done. We have Wicket, which was already done. But the only thing is they're putting them on vintage carded back package. But bro, they had the opportunity to give us so many, Jabba's palace aliens, skiff guards. There were so many awesome characters in Return of the Jedi, and they missed the boat, man. Instead, they're focusing on all the Disney Plus shows and the vintage line. Which, look, I get it, man. I collected 3 3/4. That's all there was back then, and you could really build that world. But when Black Series was introduced, I was like, holy shit, this is an opportunity to really get more detail, more articulation, more accessories. But
now,
we
now
have
I
more.
can tell you,
The
vintage
vintage
collection looks
line
better.
has more detail, bro, has more articulation, has better paint apps than the big fucking 6-inch Black Series.
Yeah.
I still cannot comprehend that shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my little um anecdote of my childhood and what made me a collector. But I want to hear your story, dude. Tell me about like, your childhood and how did you start collecting? Because I know at one
Well,
point you weren't a collector always.
yeah. Like, well, everything started, and it's so funny because I think every single one of us, especially kids from the 80s, and I was born in 75. So uh, when Star Wars came in, also, I was really young. And I remember my aunt um, giving me for Christmas. I don't know if you remember the jumbo figures from Star Wars. The
Yes.
Okay, the Chewbacca,
12 inch.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and she gave me also the Luke Skywalker with the white dress.
Telescoping lightsaber.
Yes, and I remember I got those two. And I remember I'm telling you, back in the days when I was living in the country in Panama. So it wasn't that many toys around me back in the days when I was there, because when you're in the country, you mainly have what? Tonka cars, like stuff like that. But she gave me those two Star Wars figures. I still remember I was maybe like 5 or something like that, maybe less. And but in my memory, that stick on my memory till today. I remember that, and I remember I have a Stretch Armstrong figure,
Oh yeah.
and I remember. I was playing with my friend, and we were twisting the Stretch Armstrong, and poof, explode with the green slime inside. Dude. That was so sad for
Really?
me.
It exploded?
Yeah, that was so sad, dude. And after that, I think when I went to school, that I was in elementary, this friend of mine, I went to his house, and this friend of mine showed me Masters of the Universe. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I told my mom, listen, you need to buy me this for Christmas, this and that. Let's tell Santa to bring me this for Christmas. And I remember the first figures I got from in Christmas was He-Man, Beastman, and Battle Cat. And dude, it was like so awesome because what we were doing was like three of my friends. I remember them, Juan Manuel and Roberto. We were playing, the three of us, on the weekends at his house with all the Masters of the Universe figures. And I don't know if you remember all these knockoff of Masters of the Universe that came after. So we were collecting that, because it was the country, right? So it was really hard for us to go to the city and buy these like Masters of the Universe. So we were buying all these crazy Masters of the Universe type guys with the head of a cobra and stuff like that, right? And but it was so fun because we were creating all these stories, and we will continue this story the next weekend, right? So when I moved to the city, right? When I moved to the city, my neighbor from across the street, he had the biggest Star Wars collection I ever seen in my life. It was the first ones, right? Like the 5 points of articulation ones. But I was like, that blows my mind. And I was like, wow, these Star Wars, because I was used to the big ones, right?
Right.
So he showed me that, and I was like, oh my God. And then after that, Joe's came, right? And my best friend next door, he had this Joe collection. So what we do was, when it was Christmas, we make our list, right? And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna ask Santa that he's gonna bring me the dreadnoughts. And then the other friend was like, okay, I'm gonna ask for the GI Joes, and the other one was like, okay, I'm gonna ask for the Cobras. So we get together on the weekends, and we play and make stories that last for months, dude, for months in my patio. Because I remember I had this big mango tree on my patio, so there, we were playing, like the actual mango tree was like the Cobra base. And dude, it was amazing. That was such a great time, right? So that was my childhood. But then when I turned, like, I will say 12 or 13, it was when Transformers was kind of like really cool, right? And then they changed Masters of the Universe to the New Adventures of He-Man. And I totally lost interest about that series. I didn't like
Right.
it. And so I start focus more into. I remember I was watching in cable TV in Panama, comic strip. Remember, it was like dinosaurs. It was GI Joes, back in the days. It was like Heathcliff, I think,
Karate Cat.
Karate Cat, yes, Refrax, I think, and all those. And then you have all these cartoons, new cartoons, Sky Commanders, all those stuff. But the one that I was watching the most, I think, was Transformers, right? Transformers and Autobots. And but to me, collecting Transformers wasn't that fun because I didn't like to transform the vehicles and stuff. And when I was watching the cartoon, I was like, this doesn't look like the actual cartoon. So I was like, yeah, these look horrible. But it was the technology at the time, right? So I kind of like start losing the interest in that. And after that, I think my last toy I bought when I was kind of like preteen was Predaking from Transformers.
Mm.
And I bought Predaking, and right away when I opened, I play with him like maybe twice, and I give it to my brother, to my little brother. And I was like, that's it. I'm not collecting anymore. I'm not playing anymore with this. We were more like into playing American football, hanging out with girls. I was big into BMX and do like freestyle stuff. So I was more into that. And I pretty much lose the whole interest in that. What made me collect as an adult was when I remember I moved from the country to the city with my mom, and my neighbor had this big comic book collection, and I was like, "Wow, and I started reading all his comics, and I started like buying comics, right? And then he was like, "No, but back in the days, it was this store that has these, like, I don't know if you remember this line of 4-inch Fantastic Four and X-Men figures,
The Toy Biz?
the Toy Biz ones. Yes, the less articulation ones, the kind of like 4-inch, 5-inch, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, one day he came with, I think was like Terax or Thanos or something like that, and I was like, oh my god, that looks incredible. And he's like, yeah, I'm collecting this. And he had the Galactus that had like the drill. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, my God. And he's like, yeah, and I have this X-Men. And back in the days, the X-Men cartoon was going on. So I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I start buying one, right? And then two, and then three, and then from there, I was maybe like what, 18 years old, something like that, 17, 18, 19. I start collecting again with the Toy Biz line. And
Where would you pick them up? Like at the
then
comic book
I
store?
remember no, it was back in the days in Panama. You have these stores that were kind of like Macy's style.
Okay.
So you bought everything from those stores. They have like a toy section.
Department. Yeah.
Yes, where you can buy all that stuff. And I think I start collecting from there. Like when I was like 19, 18, like rock and roll, comic books, uh, pretty much the X-Men was going on. That was the main thing. X-Men, Fantastic Four, I think. Spider-Man cartoon also was around that time. And pretty much that was it. That was it. And then I remembered one of the things that blows my mind was when McFarlane toys came in. I was like, that changed my
Oh,
world. I was like, what is this? And all these companies that start making toys, like it was McFarlane, but you have like Wetworks. I don't know if you remember that comic,
yeah.
right? Uh,
The werewolf.
Wildcat.
Remember the variants? It was like the bloody variant werewolf, the regular werewolf. They made like three different colors of that werewolf.
Remember Wildcats?
Wildcats, yeah.
Well, they start making the action figures, Chaos Comics,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, what is this? I was like totally, like, my mind was like, oh my god. So yeah, I start collecting pretty much from there, from my kind of like teenagers years, pretty much by the end. That's what makes me collect pretty
So you
much.
just took a little break, but then you went right back in when you
Yes, I took like maybe like a 6 years
your
break.
break. Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, I remember one of the toys that blew my mind because at the time, what I was doing was buying comics. And it's funny how a lot of people, they kind of do that. Like, okay, so you have your childhood, you play with toys. And then I guess you tell yourself, oh, little kids play with toys. So you stop playing toys, but you start buying comics. And then I remember I was at one point where I was just buying comics, and I was a huge fan of Todd McFarlane and his art style. And I would like draw and copy the covers, and I had learned to draw Spider-Man the way Todd did. And my thing was always trying to get all the Todd McFarlane covers, all the Todd McFarlane books. When he brought out Spider-Man #1, dude, I got like the silver foil, the gold foil. I got all the different prints of that cover. Um, and then that segued into toys because I remember going to a comic book store, um, and I saw the Toy Biz Venom figure. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit. And it's funny because now you look at that Toy Biz Venom figure and it looks like a hot, steaming pile of shit. But back then, that's all there was. And the fact that Venom was a newer character and he was such a big part of the McFarlane storyline, I was like, holy shit, bro, I went crazy. I remember at the time, I didn't have money, I didn't have like a job or anything. And I remember where I told the guy, what was it that I told the guy? He was doing some sort of like layaway or something in the store. So I was like, hey, I really want that figure. So can I, like, he's like, oh, you could put a deposit. And then I would ask my grandparents for money and like, or I would save my lunch money. I don't know what, but I did what I had to do to get that fucking Venom. And when I got him, dude, I was the happiest person. And that set shit off. So it's funny how you and I both, with you, it was Fantastic Four. With me, it was Spider Man Toy Biz figures. And because Spider Man was my jam, like, there was a point where I didn't speak English because I was raised in a Cuban household and nobody
Yeah.
spoke English. And I was watching the 1960s Spider Man cartoons. And that's where I started developing the speech patterns in English. So Spider Man is a huge part of my upbringing and my childhood and everything. So I've always gravitated towards anything Spider Man. You know what I mean?
Well, that's pretty similar to what happened to us in Panama because in order for us to watch all these cartoon and stuff, you need to have cable TV. So we were forced to understand what they were saying, you know, and that was really really cool. Also the comic books because comic books, I mean, all of the comics were pretty much in English.
Right.
So I mean, certain comic books they did the translation in Spanish back in my town, but not all of them. So you were forced to try to
Speaking of X
understand.
Men, bro, and Marvel, check this out,
Yep,
dude. This
Mondo.
My buddy Peter from Mondo. I went to his place recently, and he hooked me up with this, and this is so amazing because what I love about it is if you look at the packaging, like it has actual storyboard art from the original cartoon from the 90s, bro. Like it's so fucking cool, the packaging. And
I
then
saw that figure on my on my local store. It looks amazing.
you have the magnet slipcase, like book. Trying to get it, so here you go. Look at all the stuff this thing
That's
brings, bro. He brings like 5 heads. He brings a Logan head. He brings another expression. He brings a morph head. He brings the picture of Jean Grey and Scott.
that's so messed up.
This is a really awesome effect where he's like deflecting, I think, Magneto's magnetism power with his claws, and then a bunch of alternate hands. He even brings a chicken drumstick, bro.
Oh my god.
But look at the detail on this shit, dude.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The fact that it looks like it popped out of the TV
Of the
screen in
TV?
the 90s
Yeah.
with the cell shading. You know, at first I thought I wouldn't be a fan of it, but man, it really looks like
No,
the
it looks
cartoon
amazing.
just jumped out of the TV, man. And the thing about these is, look at this, the articulation. I mean, it's not a Marvel Legends by any way, but this is 1/6 scale. and everything is really good quality. The joints are nice and tight. You can do a lot of poses. You can't cross the arms, but man, it's just really good quality figure, and it looks amazing on your shelf. I know
What
it's a
what
higher
type
price item.
what type of material is the shorts?
The shorts are the same material as the figure. I think maybe a little bit more flexible. Um, so you definitely can't, you could do a split, but like you see, you get a little paint rub in the crotch area there. Unfortunately, um, I'm sure that's QC stuff that they'll be working on improving. But man, this is not the kind of figure that you put in crazy poses like a Marvel Legends figure. But if you're a fan of this property, you're a fan of X-Men, man, this is something you definitely
It looks really
want
cool.
to add to your collection. And speaking of that, we recently had the surprise drop of the Sabretooth figure, bro.
Oh my
Holy
god,
shit.
huge, dude.
Sabretooth is my favorite uh, Marvel mutant villain. Even before Magneto, because I just loved I get maybe it's a connection because I'm such a big Thundercats fan, and he's essentially like a feline kind of
Yeah,
ferocious creature. But man, that design with a big fur, because I have like for example this one, but this is not my favorite Sabretooth iteration. He looks cool and everything, but this is like fasting Sabretooth. Like he's so skinny and he's not
yeah.
the type of build that we want our Sabretooth to be. But man, that Mondo Sabretooth, bro, that shit looks fucking amazing. I pre-ordered
They
that.
need to Marvel Legends need to do like a big saber to dude.
And you know what? They probably will. You know how they're doing the X-Men videotape figures? They probably will give us an animated Sabretooth in that packaging. But I'm just not a fan of the pricing, man. Now we're getting basically like a figure and a weapon, or a figure and two hands for $25. And then if the figure more than five accessories, it's almost $30. It's insane. The
Yeah,
fact that
prices.
Mondo hasn't increased the prices of their stuff, even with all this inflation and stuff, it's mind blowing. I don't know how they're able to pull that off. They must have a really good relationship with the factories in China, but I've seen so much eye candy that's coming from Mondo, bro, that I just can't talk about right
Tell me
now.
about it, dude. Tell me about it with the Masters of the Universe. I'm like,
But
oh,
all I
dude.
can tell you is save your fucking money, bro. Because listen, your anti-Eternia He-Man is about to arrive. It
Yeah.
sucks that you didn't get it in time for the show, but hey, you'll show it to everybody next Thursday. So if you're watching and you want to see anti-Eternia He-Man, definitely tune in with us next Thursday
Oh
because you'll
yeah,
have it
dude.
in hand.
It's gonna be
Um,
crazy.
but dude, show me what you got, man. What's the latest stuff?
Well,
What's your latest
okay,
haul?
so I got two things like last week. Dude, I took some cool pictures with this guy, dude.
Dude, he's badass.
Dude, I'm so impressed with this figure, dude. Like Indiana Jones from Hasbro. I mean, listen, he's such. I mean, such a nostalgic factor on this figure for me, because my best friend back in the days in childhood, like, was a big fan of Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford in general. So, like, yeah, it's like a real like nostalgic factor, and this figure poses so good on pictures, and it's really cool because, dude, like you said, I don't know how they work because, dude, this guy such a crazy detail, like the paint apps and everything. The face is really really good, like paint apps, sculpt, articulation, everything. He comes with one, two, three pairs of hands, with one open and the other one here,
To put on his belt,
and
man.
He comes also with the little this little
The
guy.
idol. The idol.
Yeah, the idol. He comes with a pistol that is right here inside here that you can take out, and he comes also with the buff piece, which is the art.
The art,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, they're gonna build it. And dude, the figure was like 24 dollars, something like that. That's incredible. But the thing that really impressed me was this pickup right here.
Nice. Street Fighter.
Yeah, Fei Long from Street Fighter from Jada Toys. Listen, dude. I don't know if the camera can show you. Let me bring this light here.
Let me let me put you as the main.
Check this out. I don't know if like it's too much light. Right this. Check this out. Like, dude, the amount of detail, articulation, paint ups, like like he has shading all over the body, right? And
Hmm.
not just that, dude, but he comes with two heads, open palms, and fists, and he comes with this great kicking effect. Really, really awesome. It's like kind of like rubber material. But but not just that, dude. How this figure articulate is what impressed me the most, and the quality, the plastic when you touch this figure compared to this thing. Like this Jada toy makes look Marvel Legends like garbage. Like like articulation, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Articulation on the neck, double ball joint,
Oh, wow.
the the articulation here on the shoulder. Look at the butterfly, dude.
Huh.
And how they integrate the butterfly that doesn't look bad on the chest, like the arms, like pinless joint.
Yeah.
Dude, look at the torso. Look. This is insane, dude.
Put him in like a really cool like Bruce Lee kicking
Dude,
position.
check this out. Let me put this thing like
It's funny because we were talking about it the other day, and I thought Jada Toys was still only doing diecast. And personally, I don't see any Jada Toys figures in stores. So I thought like those Universal Monsters figures, I thought those things were diecast.
check this out.
Oh wow. That,
Dude, this figure, look, the split, dude. Check that out.
wow.
And this is soft, kind of like soft rubber. The amount of articulation you have on this thing is insanity, dude. It's insanity. I'm not even the biggest um, Street Fighter fan, but when I saw this on the store, and this is kind of like hard to find on the stores right now, but when I saw this guy on the store, I was like, oh no, I need to get him. Like this figure looks fantastic just in the package. And when I took him out and started taking pictures and posting him, like look at the box, dude. The box is such an amazing box, dude.
Oh, that's badass.
It's an arcade, and look at the background, dude, for him. Like, dude,
Yeah.
it's such like all the characters, like you can choose the characters. So I guess they're gonna make all of this. This is based on Street Fighter 2 Ultra, the
Yeah.
final challenger.
That's
Dude,
so badass.
so you're gonna have like actually they show up already a teaser of the SDCC exclusive, which is
Evil
gonna
Ryu,
be
right?
Evil Ryu right here. So, but dude, what I'm most excited about is Akuma, dude. I and they told this is extra official, but they told somebody that they're gonna try to keep the price on the figures. Like no matter if it's gonna be a big figure, they're gonna try to keep the price point by giving less accessories on the big figures, but they're gonna try to keep the price like the same.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So and dude, they say the actual Rio Evil Rio exclusive is gonna come with a bunch of accessories and stuff. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped for that line. I'm all in. Right now, I'm sold on the line. these guys are setting the bar for all these companies around it. Like honestly, I paid $24 for this figure, and I'm more than happy
Yeah, and
because I
the
have quality.
packaging is so awesome.
Even if you want him to keep him in the package, this is collectors friendly. It's
So you
just like
can,
a little tape here, and you just take everything out, and you can put him back in the box.
that's awesome.
And it's such an amazing display.
Yeah, dude, it really
Yeah,
is. And
I'm
speaking of good articulation and an awesome toy line, this guy right here, bro.
oh my god,
This guy right
animal
here.
animal warriors of the kingdom.
Let me tell you, I talked to Jason um, from Sparrow the other day. We spoke over the phone. Unfortunately, he can't join us on a live stream because he has really bad internet service in his area. But he had to took the time and we spoke, and we were talking about what's coming. And he told me some stuff, man. And just wait, dude. If you like what's out now, the stuff that's coming is mind blowing. But I did want to emphasize on one particular thing, which is why I'm bringing this up right now. And it's because this right here, dude. I'll show you right now. This right here, brother.
Oh my god,
Wave 2
that's the new wave.
launches. It's actually, you could pre order them right now. Just go to sparrowtoys.com. But check it out, June 20th. That's right around the corner, brother. I cannot wait to get General Thane.
That's
And
insane.
Blight looks amazing. This is the one other guy after Thane that I'm dying to get right here, Lexion. Lexion, Cordoon. And here's the really cool thing about this line. We have the monkeys, right? But now, well, or the primals. Now we have feline characters. And I can totally see these kind of characters living on the same shelf as Thundercats because they're feline. So they
Yep.
could live in that world, You can kind of make like a expanded universe kind of thing. This guy, dude, Vero Atlas. He was a Kickstarter exclusive. Unfortunately, he's not available right now. I think Jason said he's going to make him available probably like in conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But all these guys are dropping, man. June 20th.
that's
And
insane.
I'm super excited. These are more like the army builders. They're like a little more plain, or like if you want to do repaints, the head packs, dude. You know, I'm getting my Atreyu, which is like the lion-looking character, and this is like an alternate head for him that looks a lot like Lionel. And you've got these alternate heads. This one's really cool. It reminds me of Caesar from Planet of the Apes
Yeah.
when he does the skull painting on his face. So all this stuff is dropping June 20th, dude. So
It's so awesome because that line, if I understand, I think they're gonna do a crossover with Savage Crucible, dude.
really,
Yes,
oh,
they're
I
gonna
didn't
do
know
a
that.
crossover with Savage Crucible apparently, and it's gonna be really really interesting. And yeah, I mean, Jason is such a great guy. William also his is one of the partners there. Is my friend William
Mhm.
Castroneves. He's such a great guy, such a great guy. And these guys, I mean, dude, that line is
Bro,
like,
just the stuff you could pull off. Like, look at
oh,
this pose, dude.
articulation, dude. Articulation is out
Next
of this
level.
world.
Like, look at this back arch, bro. The back arch. Look at that shit.
Yep,
Like, I
yep.
totally want to put this on a wire and take him outdoors and take some pictures, bro.
No,
That's
yeah.
how.
Last time I was around the Everglades and I took a good picture um, with one of them. I think it's the emperor guy, the monkey, the bad one. Um, what's his name?
That's damn, what's his name? He's
I don't remember his
Kali.
name.
Kali.
Cali. Yeah, Cali. Cali. I took a picture and I posted on their group. Is such a great. I mean, those figures are, and the new PowerCon exclusive is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it looks like Beast. The colors of Beastman.
Yeah,
I
the match is a
I'm
gorilla, the
getting.
color of Beastman.
Jason sent me Tiberius and a Atreyu. Um, so I should be getting those next week. So I'll have them for the next live stream to show
Nice.
off. I love those because those are the felines. You got the lion character, and then Tiberius looks a lot like Tigra from Thundercats.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I know you have Atreyu, right?
I have a Trey, I have Cali, and I have the main guy.
Pale, pale.
Yeah, Pale. Yeah,
So you don't have
and I have
the Chinari, one
yeah,
Chinari sword,
yes,
and it's a prototype
that's a prototype. Yes, that's the one. Uh, Actually, that was the first sample I think from the factory, and I did a review on that figure back in the days before the line was like actually
launched.
like
Yeah,
launched. Yeah, and Jason told me to keep the figure, so that's one of my girls right there.
yeah. No, Tiberius is one figure that I've really been wanting to get my hands on, primarily because I want to see how he fits into my Thundercats shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it totally looks like something that could be in that universe. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
Um,
totally.
but it's funny because right now the way the climate is with the toy industry, and I think we've touched on it before, is sadly it's something that's more adult driven. You and I are the ones that are keeping the toy industry alive. It's not really children anymore. There's not a lot of kids that they're like, oh, I want to go to the toy store. Now, I'll stop right there. My daughter is 3, and yeah, she wants Coco Melon toys, she wants Baby Shark toys, but those are not the toys. That's toddler stuff. That's baby shit. But once you pass that toddler stage, I think kids automatically go to video games or
Yeah.
card games, or that what's that Roblox shit, or like Fortnite. But I don't see kids in the store telling, "Mommy, mommy, I want this Marvel Legends figure. Mommy,
No,
mommy, I want."
really,
You know,
it's really hard, and
it's really us. It's the adult collectors, unless our kids are emulating and they see that we're collectors and they're like, "Oh, my dad likes that, so I want to get into that." You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, it's the nature of the beast,
Like for
actually.
example, your daughter is like she's huge into dance and fitness and everything. Has she ever been um like like a fangirl of the stuff that daddy collects? Has she ever like told you, "Hey daddy, I want I want my own Motu figure," or I want
When she was little, actually, she just told me that she want to get rid of everything she had.
uh didn't
Yeah.
that kind of like break your heart, dude?
Oh yeah, totally. But I
Because you're
mean,
like you're
but
like no.
but I understand. I understand.
It's like you. She's evolving.
I understand. She's already 10. She's gonna be 11 on October, and I mean, part of being in dance is what makes her be a little bit more mature in certain areas. Say, for example, because she shares with a lot of bigger girls, right?
Right.
And now she's like into makeup.
Yeah.
She like every night she goes and she does like all these like skincare stuff in her face, and she's like into, oh, now she doesn't want mommy to pick up her clothes. She's the one who pick up her clothes when she's going shopping or whatever. She's like, I don't like that. I like this. I like that. You know.
Yeah.
So it's the nature of the beast, dude. It's the
Yeah.
nature of the beast. Now, daddy is not the one in charge of buying stuff. Now it's mommy the one in charge of buying stuff because she's the one who knows about makeup and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
You don't know shit about that.
exactly. So,
It's funny
so
because my wife tells me, you know, you suck at um, when I'm like putting an outfit together for my daughter. She's like,
Uh-huh.
you suck. I'm like, dude, I'm a guy. I am a fucking guy. I don't, I'm not in tune with the female side where I know what looks good on a girl. Like, I coordinate. So I'll say, okay, if she's wearing a pink shirt with purple, I'm either going to give her purple pants or pink shoes. But I'm not into like, oh, let's do this color ribbon that matches with. Bro, that's mommy's job, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know
Yeah.
eventually later on it might be a point where
I
my
mean,
daughter will be like, oh, I want to paint your nails, daddy, or I want you to do tea time with me, and I'll
listen,
do
I
those things.
know, because especially me, because like out of the two, like my wife and me, I'm the one who is more with my daughter because I have more time. So, dude, I know how to do bonds for ballet. I know how to do all of that shit. And I know what's like the combinations she needs to wear and stuff like that. I need to. So
You
yeah, I
have to
mean,
learn that shit, sink or
dude,
swim.
next month, I mean, at the end of this month, by the end of this month, she's going to nationals to compete,
Ah, man, that's
and
big.
that's a big thing. And I'm gonna be there for a week in
That's
Orlando,
awesome.
so
Proud dad.
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
That's awesome, man. And like, imagine, I mean, what's the next step for your daughter? Like, as far as, you know, going to college, I guess it would be like, what's that famous dance school in New York that everybody talks about in the movies and stuff?
Yeah, she wants to do that, and we are like encouraging her, like we need to support her, like that's what she likes, that's what she does, and she's really into it, and she's really uh, commit to that. So yeah, that's the thing, dude. I need to dance. I'm a dance dad.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what it is.
awesome. That's like, yeah, it's interesting the direction that our kids take, in life. Like my son, my youngest is 21 now. He likes working on cars. He likes
Nice.
he likes sports, and he likes off-roading and fishing and all that shit. I am not that person. I never fished in my life. I never did outdoor stuff. I've never been into sports. Um, the closest I could say I've been into sport is watching the Super Bowl for the trailers and working out at the gym, going running, uh, doing CrossFit and that kind of shit. But I've never been into sports, and I guess mainly because I've always had vision impairment. So I remember ever since elementary school, when it was football or whatever, people throw up the ball, I couldn't see the fucking thing. I just saw a blur in the air. So I would always miss. So I kind of like that made me distance myself from team sports because I thought I'm gonna be shit at it. People are gonna pick on me. I'd rather just stay away from it. And I've never been a fan of it. It's funny, like my son, he watches fights, he watches all the football games, basketball games. My two kids are into that. They work on cars, and me, all my life collecting toys. And my
Well,
son used to be in my YouTube videos, which I fucking every time I think of that, it pisses me off that those videos are gone because Google deleted my channel. But here we are, back again, doing it
yeah,
strong. But
listen,
those are memories that
yeah,
you can't get back.
it's
You
crazy
know?
because yeah, like you said, like my daughter, I mean, she's into dance. I mean, I have a martial arts school. I've been doing martial arts my whole life.
Yeah, you would think she would get into that.
Yeah, she actually asked me a few weeks ago that she wants to start doing jiu-jitsu,
Oh,
which is good. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make get like a mat for the house and start teaching her here.
yeah,
Because it's really good for her to learn how to defend herself, and she wants to learn. So I'm gonna use that. But she was never interested into martial arts, and I never pushed her to do it. Now she asked me by herself.
that's
So
cool.
I may start using that to teach her a little bit this and that so she can defend herself on the streets, you know?
Yeah, man. The way things are nowadays, that's something I always think about. Because when you have a boy, they defend themselves. It's I don't know. You feel a little as a parent, you feel a little more secure. But when you have a daughter, you have to be so much more aware and prepare them for anything that could happen. You know, a date gone wrong, someone is trying to like kidnap them.
Yep.
So you got to prepare these girls. They need their daddy a lot more than a boy needs their dad. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
totally. Totally.
But yeah, man, look, this show has been really fun. I love talking about reminiscing of my childhood, um, and just really connecting with what made us the type of collectors that we are today. And it's just an evolution, and I feel like right now, because of the things that I've seen that are coming from Mondo, I feel like I'm gonna be evolving a little more towards the 1/6 scale side. Because, dude, if you see the Motu stuff that's coming, the Marvel stuff that's coming, and other licenses that I cannot talk about right now that are
Listen,
coming.
listen. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm so happy that you're telling me this right now because some people were saying, "Oh no, Mondo is over. Whatever, you're gonna be screwed with that Masters of the Universe line. Whatever. They're gonna now that Funko took over. They're gonna. Dude,
Funko
let me
was
tell
a
you.
fucking blessing. That's all I can
let me
say.
let me tell you, Mondo may became in my only line of collecting, and they're killing it, dude. They're killing it, and I'm glad, I just can't wait for those things to arrive or to like see like in person, so
Start
people can
saving
stop,
money.
so people can shut up,
Start
like
building up a Mondo fund. Okay, start saving money and have some shelf space because 1/6 guys take up a lot of space.
I know,
But
I know.
but
I need
dude,
to get rid of
Motu.
a bunch of stuff.
Oh, and by the
I
way,
already start.
Battle Cat, just so you can make the shelf space. Battle Cat is dropping in July, early July.
Really?
The only thing that's holding back Battle Cat right now is because in California they're very strict on the paint and the chemicals in the paints.
Hmm.
So um, the owner of Mondo, he wanted to make sure that he didn't have any problems in California, particularly. So all they're doing right now is they're waiting to put the paint inspection approval sticker on the boxes, bro. Once those things are done, the cats are gonna be on the water, and when we get that battle cat, dude, and we put He-Man on it, dude,
Can't wait, dude. Can't wait.
bro, I cannot wait. I
Tell
cannot wait.
them, tell them to make a anti-Ternia battle cat.
Hey, before that, there's other big things planned. That's all I'm gonna say. And as far as the other guy, because we got Deluxe He-Man, Skeletor, I have a feeling he's coming soon, man. Probably like in July, Comic Con time. The Deluxe Skeletor should be dropping soon, man.
Let's cross fingers.
I have a feeling. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's been really fun again. Uh, let's stick to this, man, every Thursday. I just want to make this like a weekly routine. I know we don't have a lot of live viewers, but we're going to build that. I'm wondering if the time has something to do with it. I mean, it's Thursday, 7 to 8. Think maybe people are still working. I
Yeah,
got to figure out things
yeah, I
like
would say maybe to put it a little bit later, like 8, something like that,
I
maybe.
was thinking, because the thing is, I have to be away from home to do this. Because if I do it at home, my daughter will be knocking on the door because she knows daddy's in the on the other side of the room in the door. So
Yeah,
that's why my wife
yeah.
is like, no, you should leave the house so you can really concentrate on this thing and not have interruptions. So that's my thing, that since I'm not on site, like I'm leaving my wife alone with the baby, what's good is that my stepdaughter is at her grandma's, so my wife can manage the baby better when her older sister's not there.
Yeah.
Um, but what I'm thinking of doing is maybe live streaming off of Instagram also, so that people that are on Instagram know that we're on YouTube and they can kind of like jump on,
Correct.
and we can see if we get some movement going. Because I really want to get people into the conversation. I want to hear what people have to say about
Yes.
the topics and stuff like that. And I'm definitely going to work on getting people. I want to see if I reach out to, like Toy Bro and J Retro and stuff like that. See if we can get them on as guests so we can geek out
Yeah.
together.
Sure.
I know Nolan wants to come back. So if you have any idea of anybody that you want that just wants to get on here and geek out, man,
No.
let's
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
The more the
Totally.
merrier, I think, for sure. All right, brother. Well, it's been fun. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Let's go Panthers.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take care,
Thanks for
dude.
joining us, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.